This is a good Real Abundance Zoom call, our normal Tuesday Zoom call, and I'm really excited about today's guest, and I want to tell you a little bit about him. I met him about 25 years ago when I was a young attorney, and I'll just tell you, I always admired him because he always had so much energy and just all these brilliant ideas, and I don't want to make his head get too big because it will get really big really fast, but he'd always have these brilliant ideas, and then I used to really enjoy, he'd take me to these meetings in high rises, and we'd go to movie sets or go to producers' houses, you know, Beverly Hills and stuff. It was always really, really fun for a young attorney. And here it is now, 25 years later, and I just happened to be talking to him because we keep in touch every year, half year or so. And I told him about what I was doing with the Real Abundance, and he got really excited, he got interested. So if you know Michael's background, he's raised hundreds of millions, tens of millions of dollars. He's helped with big movies. He's done a lot of different business deals. So it just goes to show you that no one is too big. If it's the right time, the right place, it can indicate and grab somebody. So don't ever think that anybody's too big to go talk to, because Michael's a perfect example of it. He's found time for it, but it fit with his purpose and his philosophy of what he's doing right now. So with that, I want to introduce Michael Mercier, and I want to tell him how much I appreciate that he's come aboard, and he's going to come aboard in a big way as a master distributor, and he's really helping already. But as you know, what I like to do at the very beginning, instead of just talking about the product and stuff, I like to talk to people. So Michael's been on many movies, been involved with many movies. In fact, he just wrapped a movie not too long ago with, who was it? Kevin Sorbo, Peter Coyote, and Maria
Savino.
Savino. So pretty big name people, right? And so Michael, do you have any great story that you can let us know what it's like working on a major motion picture? I mean, not just some little rinky-dink thing, but something that'll be a wide release. And what's it like? Give us some anecdote or something, you know, being backstage kind of pass of what's it like working on a movie?
Well, working on a movie is never boring. I think the most important thing about a movie and about actors is allowing them to actually perform their craft. You know, you get a lot of directors out there that'll come in and they want the actors to act like they act. In other words, they're going to show the actor how to act. And I think if you hire an actor, you're better off letting them figure out what their character are, and you're better off letting them do what they do best. And if you're a director or a producer, this isn't on the set too much, but yeah, I find that if you don't do that, actors can get very, you know, they actually kind of regress into themselves. And another thing about actors is almost all of them are very emotional. You know, you hear stories about, who was the actor that was in the Ferrari versus Ford?
It was Christian Bale. And,
yeah, Christian Bale. I wanted to bring him up especially because I was actually on a film that he was working on, and everybody was talking about how he got really upset and why and he threw a tantrum, and in fact it even made it on the news. And the truth of the matter is he was so into his character, and he was trying to focus on it and remember his lines and really give the performance that we're used to seeing him give, which, by the way, I think, you know, he's one of the best actors in the world. And part of the reason for that is because he's so focused. And yet everybody, you know, somebody actually walked by him and tripped, you know, made something fall. It probably wasn't their fault. That's not the point. He got upset because he had to be on a camera in a few minutes, and everybody's expecting him to give an Oscar-winning performance. But even more important, that's the only performance he wants to give. He's putting his 100% into it. And so yeah, so a lot of people, you know, he got a lot of bad publicity from it. A lot of people said, oh, he's hard to work with, he's this and that. Well, let me tell you, if all of us would focus as much as he focuses on giving a good performance, and if we gave the same performance, all of us would really have a better life, I think. You know, he's really into what he's doing, and he tries hard. Now, with that, my dog has to go to the bathroom, and if I don't let her out, I got to clean it up, so I'll be right back.
Well, great. So go ahead and bring it back to me. So, okay, we'll get Michael back in a minute. Another thing is I want to point out is Michael, obviously he's older now and been working with him the last few days. It's just amazing how he just maintains a really, really strong energy level. So there's something to that as well with him being able to still have such vitality at his age. And we'll get into that a little bit. What else do we have going on right now? Oh, here he comes back. So Michael, so my next question is, so you're obviously busy. I know you had another movie that got stopped from being shot because of the COVID thing came down. So the last one's in the can, but your latest movie is like 2/3 of the way done. So why is it at this time that you decided you would be willing to put your time and energy into Real Abundance with a real electron concentrate?
Well, first of all, I think that negative ions is very important. I think that they also, besides doing a lot of good things like getting rid of depression, bringing up your mood, giving you more energy, even helping the cells work better, more permeable to the nutrients that you're feeding your body. But just as important, they counteract positive ions. And I'm not sure if any of you have ever been like in the Santa Ana winds or in some other place where there are heavy winds. And about 30% of the people that get in really windy areas, and by the way, I think DeMarco, I think they have some winds in Chicago, right?
They call it the Windy Cities.
Anyway, that's what I was thinking. But a lot of people get really depressed. And so, what's making them depressed are the positive ions. When there's lots of wind blowing, we're getting a lot of positive ions. A lot of people attribute a lot of their, the sniffles and all this to the pollen that's in the air. But it's not just the pollen. It's also the positive ions. And so if you're taking negative ions, you're counteracting those positive ions, and the positive ions aren't allowed to enter your cells. Rather than that, the negative ions are entering it, and that kind of boosts up your immune system, and it makes it to where the pollen doesn't affect you as much. By making your cells more permeable, say you're taking nutrients, and I take lots of nutrients. I was just at the store a few minutes ago, and this lady's looking at me, and she goes, well, you look really good for 54, 55. And I said, really? I just kind of smiled at her. I pulled out my driver's license and I handed it to her. I'm 72, so I'm not 54, but I thought that was a heck of a good compliment. But the thing is that I get up every morning, I work out, I take nutrients, I exercise, and I'm drinking real water, and I think these negative ions can really help everything that I'm doing and really make things better.
So Mike,
go ahead.
Mike, in that regard, so you started your health journey. I know this because I know you from 25 years ago, but even before that, you had a health crisis like 40 years ago. And that put you on the journey of really looking, by being responsible for your own health, you really started looking and researching. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. Listen, I was on the U.S. World Karate team when I was 24 years of age. I started gymnastics when I was like 8. I've been working out my entire life up until I turned 34. When I turned 34, I was diagnosed with a tumor in the cardiac junction of the esophagus, and they gave me like 6 months to live if I didn't. And even then, there was no guarantee that I would make it, but they wanted to operate. They wanted to take it out, give me chemotherapy. But by the time I got to the place where the doctors had found it, I'd been through so many doctors, and everybody was telling me something different, and I was really losing faith in the medical profession. And I'm not suggesting anybody do what I did, but I went out and I started studying nutrition. I actually went on a macrobiotic diet. I started studying traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, and really the traditional Chinese medicine really helped a lot. It got me. I don't think I would have made it hadn't it been for that. But I was sick for a long time. Eventually, I got better, but it took a while. And then I think I started getting better when I was around 40, 42. So, I'm talking like 6 years here that it really took me to, recover and start to get back in shape. And then I lost, in 2000, I lost $36 million. And that made me pretty sick too. Made me real sick. And when I'm saying that, I'm not laughing. It's not a joke. I mean, it made me physically ill. I was obviously holding on to my lifestyle, the money. I had certain things that I thought was more important than other things. And suddenly it was taken away, and I had to readjust. And really, I was so sick at that time, I couldn't really I was having a hard time getting out of bed. The only thing I could do to make a living was write. So I went back to writing film scripts, which I had done earlier in my life. And I made movies earlier in my life, and I produced and directed movies earlier in my life. So I went back to that because it was something I could do when I wasn't feeling well. And I ended up writing, like about 29, 30 film scripts while I was sick. And now I'm going back and I'm getting them made. I just made The Girl Who Believes in Miracles year before last. I made Whispers of It last year, but then we got cut off because of the COVID virus. I'm going to go back, finish it up. I'm doing a movie that's kind of like the Tom Hanks movie where he was lost on the island, except this one is with a girl, and it's telling it from a female perspective, which, by the way, I think would be much, much more difficult. And we found a really great actress who's going to play the part. And so during that time, in order to get better, I got into homeopathy, and I realized that I had I'm getting older. Here I am getting older, and yet I lost a lot of my life due to illness. So I thought, man, I don't really want to, I want to live. And I started investigating reversing the aging process or slowing the aging process down. And they've made so many big steps in that direction recently. They've discovered the sirtuin pathways. They've discovered AMPK, which is an enzyme that stops AGEs, advanced glycation end products. Senescent cells, they've developed senilics that can actually get rid of senescent cells. As your telomeres get shorter, your cells go into senescence and they start to become inflamed, and they inflame all the cells around them. This causes everything from arthritis to dementia. There's ways of getting those out of your body. And so I've been really experimenting and studying and developing a whole line of products that I personally have been taking. And I got to tell you, they really work well. I mean, I'm 72, but see if you guys can just see this, all right? I don't know. Can you see me right now, guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, barely. You're so fast, Mike. Still 72. You and Muhammad Ali, man.
Okay. What I'm trying to get is I'm not like, I went to see all my friends, and they're like 71, 72, 73, 74, and they're like old men.
Or they're no longer here because they've been gone for 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, I hadn't seen them for a long time. What happened is my daughter got married, and they all came to the wedding. And I was looking I didn't know who some of them were. I was looking, I was going, they were saying hi to me and stuff, and how are you, Mike? I've known these people my whole life. It was kind of, yeah, and it was a little difficult to recognize. I eventually did as we talked, but I'm thinking we don't have to do that. We don't have to age like that. There's things that we can do to reverse that aging or to slow that aging down. And most of us, as we get old, we're much older than we should be. We don't have to, I'm not saying we're actually reversing the age, but I think we can go back to the youth that we should be. I mean, we should be living to be 120. And I think really with what's being discovered, I don't see anything wrong with seeing 130, 140, 150 here soon.
So you went from really healthy and active, then you got sick and you lost kind of the big group of your middle age years. You started really focusing on learning all the different, you took responsibility and learned, like I said, homeopathy, traditional Chinese, Ayurvedic medicine, and now
But it's
you
not
come.
but it wasn't just 8 years. You got to take it further. 34 really, and then I lost the 36 million. You got to add in. There was a lot of years in there that I wasn't feeling well. I lost a lot of years, probably more like 20 years.
And now you're feeling really good. Obviously, you got a lot of energy, you got a lot of horsepower, so to speak, which is really exciting. And I want to share with people. I didn't want to get too much into it, but with you coming, we're definitely going to be developing some of those products, and we're going to be launching them here in the Real Abundance program, because our whole purpose is to elevate people's lifestyles through better health and nutrition, and also through increased wealth and enhanced relationships. And that just fits right into our purpose, the company purpose, which fits into your purpose, because obviously that movie you made is it's a feel-good movie. Those actors, Kevin Sorbo and Maria Sorvino, or I can't say.
Yeah, Mira Sorvino.
Yeah, they're making positive movies now.
And Peter Coyote, actually good actor, by the way. Excellent actor. He was actually great. So I think part of the reason why I really got involved here with Brent is because I really felt that his product would enhance what I was already doing, and I could formulate all the products that I'm doing into a protocol that we can share with others, and they wouldn't age as quickly. In fact, they would start finding that they have a lot more energy than they've had in years, and they would actually start 5 years from now, they might actually look. Brent, I'm a little disappointed in you that you lost that infomercial I did.
Yeah.
We had an infomercial of me when I think I must have been, 54?
20 years ago. It's 20 years ago.
Exactly. And I wish to God everybody here could actually see that infomercial right now, to see what I looked like then at 54 and to see what I look like now, because I think it would really surprise everyone.
Well, with what's going on in our society right now, with our medical, basically it's in crisis, our medical system with the traditional allopathic medicine. You come from this whole holistic medicine, the Chinese medicine, the Ayurvedic and the homeopathy, that's holistic style. With people staying at home, nothing could be a better timing than right now, coming together and providing these opportunities, these products, and the Real Abundance plan for our society. It's like, I don't think anything could be a better time. And I think that's probably part of the reason why you decided to get on board with us right now. I mean, because obviously you're very busy, although less busy now than when you're actually on sets and stuff because everything's shut down. But we're excited, because I'm excited for the longevity line. I know that I'm excited to have you and your energy and the contacts that you've already started bringing into the program. So I'm just grateful to you, Michael, and I appreciate what you're doing. And I look forward to really building this. We'd like to keep this short, just about 20 minutes. So is there any last little bit you want to finish up with, Michael, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, he just brought up a subject about some people that I'm bringing in here to help build this business. And I mean, we've got some people coming in here that are really powerhouses. And I think what makes them powerhouses is that they really believe in health. And I think that if people would think more about their health and building their health and what these products can do for their health, rather than the money they're going to put into their pocket, I think they're going to do a lot better. The money will automatically come if you believe in what you're doing. In other words, it's hard to get up in the morning and just go to work for dollars, I think. I think it's easier to get up every morning and do something that you love and do something that will help other people. And in turn, I think the dollars will automatically, just come to you. And even if they don't, even if that's not your interest, health probably is.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, Michael, with that, I want to tell everybody, again, we appreciate you. And like I say, our purpose is to elevate people's lifestyles through better health and nutrition, increased wealth, and enhanced relationships. We want to create connections with all of you guys. It's a little bit more difficult these times with the Zoom calls and talking on the phone. I appreciate you. And until next week, we like to keep these short. Remember, DeMarco's got his Thursday call where I think he's on lesson 4 for how to build on Facebook. And next week, I'm going to have another really good guest. So thank you, and as always, to an elevated lifestyle.